I was 22, alone in my rental house, listening to music on my PC in the back room. Outside the door to this room was a long hallway, which led to more rooms and a living room. So the back room that I was in was away from everything else in the house. I took my headphones off to go get a drink when I heard the sound of a woman crying. It got louder as I walked to the door, but at the same time, it sounded far away. I know that sounds weird, but it was weird. Before I could open the door, I heard 4 loud footsteps in the hallway, almost like something running towards my door. The crying noises stopped on the last step. There I was, standing with my hand outstretched to the open door, frozen with fear, and trying to get the balls together to open the door. After a few seconds, I composed myself and expected to see someone on the other side of the door. So I opened the door abruptly, and the hallway was empty. The entire house was locked up, and I had no pets. I heard the crying noises again randomly throughout the rest of my tenancy at that house. But the noise of those steps behind the door will stay with me forever. I like to think I'm pretty skeptical and logical about things, but I just can't explain what I heard that day. Note, I'm female, and some houses nearby are also known meth labs. I live in a slightly rural spot. One night, after about midnight, I hear banging on my door. I thought it was my boyfriend attempting a booty call, as he has done in the past. When I got to the door, I could see through the small glass window, but instead of my boyfriend, I saw the side of an unfamiliar bearded face. He didn't see me, and I backed away from the door. My house was in a cellular dead zone, so I knew my cell was useless. I grabbed the landline next to the bed to call 911, but the line was dead. It was just like a horror movie, where the killer cuts the phone line. Meanwhile, the guy was still pounding away and slurring, "Let me in!" I grabbed the biggest chef knife I own, which is pretty fucking big, and locked myself in the bathroom. I stood on the edge of the tub, behind the shower curtain, figuring I might have a chance if I jumped on him from above and stabbed him between the neck and shoulder when he tried to bust down the door. I was terrified, but also pleased with my plan and waited. He started working his way around the outside of the house. I could hear him sliding his hands along the siding and banging his fist on the walls. For a split second, I reveled in my surprisingly badass plan. Then I realized the sabotaged phone hadn't been charged in days. I have never felt more fear than that moment. I climbed down from my hiding spot, unlocked the bathroom door, and went in search for my second handset, all while a madman was moving around the outside of my house, violently trying to unlock every door and window. I found a phone, and it worked. I dialed 911, but the closest officer was over 15 minutes away. I was told to stay on the line, but lock myself in the bathroom again. That was the longest 15 minutes of my life. When police arrived, they had me identify Cuff's scruffy, drunk off his ass, dirty hippie kid. Apparently there had been a party down the road. He got disoriented and thought my house was his friend's house. He was trying to get back inside to the party for 20 minutes of pure terror. It was the dead of winter, and I lived on a private drive about a half-mile off the main road. The snowfall was very heavy that night. All footprints were erased, leaving the ground with a blank slate. The dogs began barking into the darkness outside the windows. Then I heard a series of knocks, so powerful that it seemed someone was striking my door as hard as they could. I go to the door, look outside, and find no one there. Then the knocking started at the back door. A glass panel door with a motion detector overhead. The light did not turn on, and I could not see anyone standing there. Then both doors were knocked upon at once, very violently shaking them. My home phone was malfunctioning, so I couldn't call the cops, and my cell phone hadn't charged up enough to turn back on. I grabbed my shotgun and closed all the curtains in the house, so if anyone was out there, then they couldn't watch me. The knocking spread to the windows, some 2 stories off the ground, and made rounds from door to door. Once my phone turned back on, I called my mom and told her what was going on, and she told me not to call the police unless someone tries to get into the house. She thought it was some kids from her non-existent neighborhood. Eventually, I opened the front door and looked around for whoever was doing this, cautiously of course. But what I saw chilled my heart. There were no footprints anywhere outside, not even indents in the snow. And once I was back inside, the knocking resumed. About 20 minutes later, it subsided. To this day, I still get freaked out about being home alone.